What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope today's video finds you well. We're in kind of a new setup right now. I'm sitting at my desk, which has actually moved from where it was. It was on the other side of my room, but we've rearranged things because I'm getting a new bookshelf. This old one is going to the trash because it's broken. Oh, I'm also getting a new desk too, so it's gonna help me greatly. Anyway, I hope this video finds you well because this video is something I've been looking forward to for quite some time and have been waiting to make because this thing has taken forever to show up. And also, we have the new microphone set up. I hope the audio is okay. I hope you can hear me well. I think the way I've set it up is perfectly fine. But anyway, let's get to the point. Today's topic, review, video, tutorial is based on the Cremated palette.
Amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique, shit on it, vomit on it, eat it, give birth to it.
Yes, I waited about, I think, a month to get this because, obviously, because of COVID-19, JeffreeStar Cosmetics hasn't had the same amount of workers and stuff in the warehouse right now, so everything is much more slower, which, in my opinion, there shouldn't have been a launch at all at the moment, especially one as controversial as this, because if you guys have seen the drama like I have, I wouldn't have launched this palette. We'll talk more about that while I'm doing the makeup, so I don't sit here talking, making a 4-minute long intro like I have in the past. I'm just going to go ahead and do my primer, foundation, concealer, and setting powder, and we'll be right back to get on with the eyeshadow palette.
As time ticks by, still I try.
Now I'm just going to go ahead and do my eyebrows and a little bit of my contouring as well. And as you know, if you want to see how I do my eyebrows, there will be a link in the description and a card on the top right hand corner of this video that will take you to my eyebrow tutorial. Alrighty, so I may or may not be completely covered in setting powder, but that's fine. We're going to go ahead and jump into the Cremated palette. Bum ba da ba, bum ba da ba, bum ba da ba. When I first opened the palette to look at the shades, this shade, Angel of Death, and this shade, Pallbearer, were lifted out of the metal pan, which was a little shocking. They weren't broken, but they were almost like falling out, and if I had have stood it up like this, they would have fallen out. But luckily I had opened it flat on a surface and I was able to repress. You can kind of see my fingerprint like press it back in. I didn't press too hard because I didn't want to like ruin the texture or anything of the shade, but I'm also a bit worried that they're just going to fall out because they are a little bit of an interesting formula. So I'm just going to start with this shade Eulogy as a crease shade. And we're going to also talk a little bit about the backlash and drama that has been circulating around this very controversial palette. So a lot of people were saying that releasing this palette was a bit insensitive on Jeffree's behalf because of what's going on right now with COVID-19 or the coronavirus, because a lot of people that are passing away from it, especially in the US, to my knowledge, people aren't able to have funerals, so they're just like mass cremating people who have passed away from coronavirus. So I can definitely see how this palette has sparked some really sensitive conversation with some people. My main issue with this palette was that I thought it was just a little bit insensitive in general to kind of launch something or bring out something when most people are really struggling right now. Some people have been let off from work, some people can't work, some people are sick, some people don't have the money to support Jeffree or support the people they love because they're trying to look after their families, themselves, and keep their livelihood afloat during this worldwide pandemic. And I think for a lot of people, it's really hard for them to focus on makeup and focus on buying material things right now when they need to be focusing on their loved ones. And I mean, it is okay to like give yourself something to do and have something to look forward to, but at the time of the launch, everything was kind of like knee deep, neck deep even in this COVID-19 crap that's going on. So it was a little bit of like a, oh god, thing to me, because it's like there are more important things to be talking about right now. All this stuff that's going on politically as well as socially and economically for the whole globe. It's a little bit like, ooh, geez, really? Whoa. Then I'm just going in with the shade Gravedigger to deepen my crease. On a side note, as far as the coronavirus controversy slash insensitivity, you might call it, that people were going on about, there was also a little bit of backlash with the goth and alternative community. But before we get to that, I'm just going in with the shade Hearse to do my very, very inner crease and outer corner. For someone that's in the goth community, I did notice some of these problems. Now, as someone who is watching, you might be in the goth subculture, but if you're not, you probably wouldn't have noticed these topics. So there have been some people, even myself for a period of time, who kind of didn't like this palette because, and specifically because JeffreeStar used the terms, your gothic spooky dream, whatever, when he first revealed the Cremated palette. Now, personally, to me, goth, as much as it is about the look, it is also about the music and the history. So, I didn't necessarily take offense to it, but I definitely felt as if there are a lot of people jumping on the goth and alternative bandwagon as a trend and not actually living that lifestyle and sort of respecting where it comes from. Because in my opinion, this palette isn't gothic at all. You don't put one black and a few glittery silvers and a couple of browns in a palette and call it goth. With that being said, this palette would also give the opportunity to younger people who want to become a goth or want to kind of dip their toes in the alternative subculture and look the part, but also support JeffreeStar at the same time. That's perfectly okay. But there's certain levels of discrimination and experience and things that goth people live with and go through that someone who doesn't live in that subculture won't understand. Now I'm just going to go in with this little brush here and then just go in with those 3 shades again on my under eye. Okay, now just because I feel like it, I'm going to grab an angled brush, like one I'd usually for my eyebrows, and I'm going to do some little bit of details here and there. Just going to grab that shade Gravedigger, and I'm just going to give the under eye shadow a little bit of shape. Now I'm going to just cut the crease with some Fenty concealer in the shade 100. I just put it on like the inner corner of my eyelid like that and look up and kind of look around, and it will transfer a little bit up there. But I do go ahead with the concealer and just overdraw that a little bit because when my eyes open you can't really tell. Just a little bit like that. Just a little bit is enough. And I do put a little bit on my under eye. Ta-da! Then, to set the crease, I'm going to go in with the shade Pallbearer on a little flat Morphe brush. I'm not putting it all the way over, I'm just putting it kind of midway. Not in the very inner corner and not on the very outer edge of the concealer either, because those are going to be reserved for 2 different shades. Then I'm going to go in with the shade Angel of Death. Now, Angel of Death and Pallbearer were the 2 shades that kind of malfunctioned when I first opened the palette, but so far everything has been a-okay. And I'm just going to use that shade Angel of Death near the end towards where the cut crease ends. Then we're just going to go in to the shade Diamond Ashes for the very inner corner. Then we're also going to use that shade and just go on our under eye. Then we're just going to go back in with the shade Hearse and follow along the edge of our crease. But not all the way down because we don't want to completely cut off the brightness of our inner corner. Then we're going to go in with some e.l.f. eyeliner just to finish up the eye look. But I'm not going to be bringing this wing down into our inner corner because, like I said earlier, that would ruin the brightness of what we've done on the inner corner. But instead, we're just going to blend the wing into those crease shades. And then we're just going to kind of open up our under eye with the eyeliner. Then I'm just going to go ahead and draw 2 little anks on my under eye, basically on my cheek area, because, you know, more than likely, whenever you come across a friendly little goth, they'll probably be wearing an ank charm or pendant. Then to do our highlight, we're going to be going in with the shade Diamond Ashes, which you saw a little earlier. I'm not doing too much, but just enough that it's still there. Then we're going to go ahead and do our lips, which I didn't get any of the lip glosses from this collection. I only managed to snag the palette, so we're just going to go ahead and use the shade Triggered from an older JeffreeStar lipstick collection, and we're just going to go over that with some black eyeshadow. I did order some Black Moon lipsticks, and they will be arriving soon. I'm going to do a video about those as well. Then we're just extending the outer corners, because it's just something that I like to do. And I think we're going to go over that with the shade Mortuary Beautician. And then the very, very, very outer corners with the shade Hearse. And there you guys have it. This is the final look. Sorry for my crazy, wacky hair. It's at this weird length where it can't be tied up, and it's also too long to, you know, style. You know, you just have to make do. And I kind of like it. It kind of looks a bit like Edward Scissorhands, so. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Did you know that around 50% of my viewers aren't subscribed? So if you're one of those people, it would mean a great deal to me if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, so you get notified each and every time I upload a new video. In saying that, all new videos are available for early access 1 entire week earlier over on Patreon. So every video that is uploaded onto YouTube has actually already existed for an entire week, and you're just missing out because it's over on Patreon. All the links will be in the description, as will the links to my TikTok and Instagram. It'll all be in the description if you want to further support me on other means of social media platforms. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.